And welcome back to Island Life Live. Peter Apo is a Nā Hōkū Hanohano Award winner, former state legislator and former OHA trustee. He's also a prolific writer and author of a new book entitled, For the Record, Hawai'i and Hawaiians.
And here he is right now, Trustee Peter Apo. Aloha e anakala. How are you?
Aloha, I'm fine. Still alive, still cranking.
Looking good.
Looking for places to land. You know, when you get old.
Well, you know, you do some very heavy lifting in this book, and we'll talk about some of the topics in just a minute, but why you decided to publish the book, that's the big question for us.
Are you asking me that now?
Yes.
I never had any intention to write a book. I never considered myself a writer, as a matter of fact. I'd always liked reading from college, and you know, my parents were like, anyway, long story short. So one day I started writing an article, and then I really enjoyed it. And I used to work for a couple of organizations where I used to write like newsletters for them. And then long story short, eventually I ended up writing opinion columns on Civil Beat, but as a freelance, you know, I wasn't getting paid. And so they shocked me. They said, we want to hire you to go write columns for us. Wow. And it was the first, you know, serious attempt at doing that. And then, so I wrote a whole bunch of columns for them over like a 12-year period. And also during that period, I was an OHA trustee for a couple of terms. And I was writing for the Kawaiʻola paper. And believe me, I just, when I look back now and look at the writings, I go like, what? What happened? Because, you know, I never really considered myself. But then friends who began reading the stuff would say, hey, Apo, you gotta, this stuff is like history, you know.
Absolutely, and I've been so blessed. Trustee sent me a whole bunch of his articles in the mail, and I got a chance to read them, and so much ike between those ears, and I'm so glad you put it down, to a book. Yeah. This is so awesome.
This is Hawaiian History Month.
Yeah,
this is essentially.
This is our library right here. This is our library. What are some of the topics?
Yeah, in fact, what's interesting to me about what happened here is that 90% of the issues that I wrote about, some good fun kind, not all bad news kind, you know, it's still going on. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the work is kind of a transgenerational a picture of kind of years of things that haven't yet been resolved or came out really good. But some of the column titles. Oh, the other thing, really quick, I want to make sure I would say this. The book, the table of contents is by column title. So there's no pages. The columns are numbered, 1, 2. So you just thumb through, look for column 10 to column 15. And you look at the titles as an example. So you don't, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to read through the whole book. So like with some of the Kawaiʻola columns I write, perpetuating culture through community tourism. I talked a lot about that, a lot of Herb Connie stuff. Federal recognition for Hawaiians, some of the usual things that have to do with the unreconciled, this stuff going with the overthrow.
So you're writing current events at the time that you came out with those papers?
Yes.
Still relevant.
And it just so happens that the events, after I went back and looked at all the columns, very few of them are settled. They're all still going on.
Wow.
But I guess the best way I can explain to me what the book represents, it's the view of a Hawaiian that started his life with Pearl Harbor, been through all these presidents' war, and a Hawaiian raised in Hawaii who kind of has a different view of history than non-Hawaiians. You know, the way we relate, the way all these things happen, our relationship to the rest of Hawaii. And bottom line, last thing I want to say, bottom line, until we're able to resolve the illegal overthrow, or at least the claim of the illegal overthrow, and bring some kind of reconciliation to that object, there's always going to be this unrest, this little division, and not in a bad way, in a very frustrating way, between Hawaiians and the rest of Hawaii. The great news is Hawaiians have so much aloha, right? I mean, you came to Hawaii, the intermarriage thing with Hawaiian Chinese, Hawaiian Japanese, Hawaiian Filipino, Hawaiian this, Hawaiian that.
Hawaiian everything.
Everybody.
So that nowadays everybody is a little Hawaiian.
In fact, he wrote a song about that. Manuela Boy, we're gonna have if you can't stick around with us, Trustee Opo'o will sing. We'll sing that song at the end of the show. But real quick, we got about
Make sure you bring the lyric.
we got about 10 seconds, Trustee. Where can we get the book?
I would imagine Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
That's
the
a
best.
good place to start.
Trustee Opo'o, always a pleasure to be around you with all this ike that he gets to share with us. Right now, we're going to send things over to Danielle Tucker for a look at our Pauhana traffic. Hey, Danielle.